Doing a clipper cut, you want to make sure, just like using shears, you want to always keep a comb in your hand. So you don't want to use brushes in doing clipper cuts either. You know, for one, it's not sterile, it's not clean. But it also helps to lay the hair in this area here. This will be your darkest area. So you want to knock out this line and you want to knock out this line. Okay. But if you start here, now your line moves up. Okay. And that's what you don't want to do. You go against the grain, you take more off. And in doing this, the object is that you really just want to get it to lay down as flush as possible without as many hairs sticking out, so that it still remains dark, but it lays smooth. If you want to go a little lower, like on the sides, he still wants it to remain dark, but he doesn't want it to go too light. He wants to lighten it up a little bit. You don't want to go too light. So you want to leave the same guard on. You'll open it all the way up, which, you know, you open the clippers all the way up, it's a 1. So if you put it here, it's going to make this a 2. You put a 1 guard on. So if you go, it's going to lighten it. You generally want to start from the left tempo here. This point right here is where you want to start, and you'll finish on the right tempo here. So, well, the cut he's getting is a little different, so it's not going to operate the same. But if I was to do a shadow fade completely around to bring this low, I would turn him all the way here, do everything I'm going to do to here, and then I would start to take the line out from here. This here, it creates, what it does is it stops some of the time that you're taking in cutting hair, so you're not doing so much flipping back and forth. So you'll cut from one angle, you'll stop here, and then you'll start from this angle and come back. You knock that down, knock that line out down at the bottom. You have 1 line left to get, and that's the line that you really want to pay attention to, because you don't want it to start traveling up his head. This guard here, it's a 0 guard that I put on to get it, but I put the 0 guard on and I open it all the way up. It'll start blending. You don't want to start digging in and create another work line. So when you bring the hair out here, like combing the hair like that, you'll automatically start taking some out. But you don't want to sit your clippers flat on the head and go up, because by doing that you're going to create another line. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to kind of scoop the hair out from the bottom. Does he leave the front of his hair natural, or does he line it? Because you have people who don't necessarily line the front of their hair. They'll leave it natural, especially when he keeps it curly or keeps it longer in the front. They'll line the sides here, and they'll line from here on around, but they don't necessarily line the front, because they don't want that hard line in the front. Anytime someone says, well, you know, just do it how you see it, I love that, because now I get a chance to cut it, and I get to cut it with their face, and now they can decide if I want to go back to that or whatever. But I can at least have this canvas where I can do what I need to do and then give them an opportunity to try something else other than what they've always done. So I always ask him how does he want his beard, you know, because he could have very well gotten it. It grows up here, so he could have gotten it full, or he could have brought it down, or however he wanted to do it. But that's always going to play a part in how your whole entire haircut comes out as well. Because now you need to know, you know, if he's going to have it dark, if he's going to have it light, is it going to blend in, you know. So it's a lot of different questions that go into once you start lining up and blending, because it all plays a part in symmetry. And when you start lining people, you start to see things in your haircut that you didn't normally see, especially when you fade. Not so much this cut because he keeps it dark, but when you start to line, when you start to blend out and fade in here, once you line somebody's hair and you turn them, you'll see a line here, you'll see a line down here. And it'll show you that, okay, I'm not exactly as even as I thought I was. So it's real important. The lining is probably the most important part of the haircut that you will ever do. And I had a guy tell me that the other day, and that was his biggest concern when he came in, because he had been somewhere else, and he said, I didn't like what they did. And I have this bad habit anyway. I look at everybody's hair when I'm out. I just always, magazine, I look at people's hair. And but when he came in, I had already noticed that his hairline was growing back. I could see where it was growing back, which tells me that they went beyond the hairline. And so, I mean, the thing is, it's really nothing to be scared of, because you'll see where their hair grows, you'll see it. Yeah. And wherever their natural hairline grows in at, you want to follow that natural hairline. You know, some people go thinner in the corners, so some people will make a line, and because they want it to look good, so they'll make this dark line where all their hair grows in evenly, but that's not their hairline. Their hairline starts right here. So if he was to get a line in front, you want to start right here in the middle of his head and come out, because you're going straight across. So when you go straight across, it's going to come to that point right here. So anything beyond that, even if he was thin in here, you don't want to go up in there. And that's how you start seeing a lot of people's hairlines that go up like this, that are real sharp because they were thin, and people just cut their hair up in there like that. And whether they wanted it that way or whether the person just saw it that way. I also use shears from time to time. Anything that's left hanging over. He has about 3 different directions on the side of his head that he probably didn't even know. But it grows here, it grows straight down, and then this grows frontwards.
You cut it that way, or does that? Okay.
So when you had the comb, I'll comb it whichever way it lays down. I'll cut it that way.
So since the front is growing like that.
Since the front is growing this way, I cut it that way.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But if I cut against it, then I'm asking for problems. But the fact that he combs his hair frontwards, and all his cowlicks is right here on the side of his head. So this is where his hair grows out and goes whichever direction it's going to go. So it starts out here and then it grows down. So it goes like this. I want to make sure my clippers lie on the back of this blade here. I don't want to turn it here, because this blade here is, if I lie it here flat on this blade, the blade isn't exactly straight. The blade goes like this. So if I lie it on this front blade here, I'm closest to his scalp, which means I'm going into his hair. I need to lie on the back of this blade here, so that the hair that's coming, it just picks it up. So I'm just going straight across the surface of his head. advice would be if you've got the clippers and they like this, that's not good.
It's not
But,
good.